Hello everyone, I am Ladiedra Smalley and today I will be introducing to you Dr. Gay Hayes. This interview took place on February 15, 2023 on Georgia Southwestern's campus. Before I get started, I just wanted to make a note of the kinds of questions that I asked Dr. Gay because for me, interviewing someone in a higher position can be a little intimidating. You want to feel prepared and look intelligent, right? You also don't want to feel as though you're taking up too much of their time. So the kinds of questions that I asked in this interview was, what is your official title? Can you tell me a little bit about your educational background? What has your career path been like that has led you up to your current position? What are some things that you love about your job? Are there any challenges associated with that job? Where would you like to be in your career 5 years from now? And what are some fun personal things about yourself? I felt that this was a solid foundation to get a little bit of information about everything. I tried to craft her responses in a way that tells a story about Dr. Gay rather than saying, well, I asked this and she said that. So with that approach, I hope that you are able to get to know more about Dr. Gay as though you had met her yourself, and you will see why I found her a worthy candidate to interview. Beginning with her educational journey, Dr. Gay attended Georgia Southwestern State University and received her bachelor's in science and political science. Dr. Gay fondly expressed the memories of her undergraduate endeavors at GSW and how she enjoyed being a student leader on campus as well as a member of Kappa Delta sorority, whom she still proudly helps out as an alumni. From there, she ventured on to receive her master's degree in student personnel from the University of Georgia. However, she did not stop there. She continued to work until she earned a PhD in Educational Policy Studies and then Higher Education Administration from Georgia State University. In 1991, Dr. Gay decided to come back to her old stomping grounds of GSW and work in the Division of Student Affairs. From there, she worked her way up the ladder in the Office of Recruitment and Admissions in 2003. During that time, she was an assistant director of admissions, and she supervised the admissions counselors, specialists, and student workers. Fast forward to 2009, and this was the time that Dr. Gay's abilities would truly be put to the test, as she was named GSW's first Vice President of Enrollment Management. Under this position, she will oversee the offices of Recruitment and Admissions, Financial Aid, Student Accounts, Registrar, and so on. She also sits in as moral support for meetings involving student life, such as recruitment and activities. Putting a little more emphasis on the departments that Dr. Gay oversees, it includes the Office of Recruitment and Admissions, the Office of First Year Experience, Student Accounts, and Financial Aid. All of us are housed in the building known as Kane Central on campus. And this is one of the recent change, maybe within the past 2 to 3 years, that was brought upon by our Vice President of Student Engagement, and Dr. Gay was also included on that committee for this change because before, most of the departments, we were kind of spread out around the campus with admissions being near the center of the campus. And so when the vice president collaborated with Dr. Gay among a few other people, they decided that it would be best for our students as well as our new and prospective students and families to have most of those departments housed in one location so there could be a one-stop shop. And we also work with the registrar office as well, but they're not housed in this particular building. So those are the kinds of departments that Dr. Gay oversees. As far as the missions, we all follow the mission of GSW, and we also call it the strategic plan here. And so that includes GSW being a regional comprehensive university that remains steadfast in our goal of student success. We are accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and School Commissions on Colleges, which ensures that we have high quality academic programs in place. Our academic planning process has further ensured that our academic programs are desired by students and contribute to the regional workforce. And so over the past few months, maybe before November, the Division of Student Engagement Services, which is what our different departments are called collaboratively. That's what we're called. And so the Division of Student Engagement and Services, we've been hosting meetings to, really look at our plan and seeing what each department can do to really flesh out, the activities and goals within our own departments and how they align with the mission for GSW. Shifting the focus a little bit regarding the goals and changes concerning the division of SES. As far as goals, we have three goals, and the first goal is to assure an engaged community of lifelong supporters who help students understand their connection to the world around them. The second goal is to provide opportunities for students to tap into their talents, leading them to personal empowerment as they develop their most authentic selves. And the last goal is to help GSW graduates to become competitive in the marketplace and graduate fields of study. So this is why we've been having all those meetings and, trying to make sure that everything that we're doing is for the betterment of not only ourselves but our students as well, so that we can continue that educational prosperity and wealth that every institution needs to really survive. Of course, as far as concerns and issues, it's always, to me, it seems to be centered around budget concerns because, as I will explain later, because of things like the COVID-19 pandemic and students and faculty not really wanting to return to campus due to, not wanting to be exposed to those types of things. Um, Budget has become a concern. I fleshed out a little later about how certain programs and departments had to be cut just to make ends meet because the budget got really tight that I noticed during the pandemic. And as a person who works in the Office of Recruitment and Admissions, it's kind of hard to, not have a flexible budget because we're the first line of defense for the university in terms of marketing and getting that first handshake out to the students and getting them interested in the campus. So budget has been a little bit of a concern, which is why we've really been changing our marketing methods to really appeal to students and get them interested in GSW because we want to increase that budget for our department. And I think that goes for any department under SES. I moved on to ask Dr. Gabe what she loved about her job and if there were any challenges associated with it. She responded that I love the people that I work with and meeting potential in new GSW families. I enjoy learning from others as we tackle the enrollment goals for the university. As far as the challenges, managing enrollment can be tough, especially when the budget for the university is determined on enrollment, so every aspect is crucial and that could bring out some stressors. Other than that, I love what I do. I asked Dr. Gay to expand a little more on what she views as big achievements, as well as the most difficult transitions from her perspective. She went on to explain that regarding enrollment, GSW has seen one to two of the biggest freshman cohorts, and this is partially due to the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, which drove the Board of Regents and the University System of Georgia to waive admissions requirements such as the SAT and the ACT. This change enticed students to apply in great numbers. She also noted how the university's approach to return to normal sparked an important conversation to assess what we as an institution were doing to really help our students to get from move-in day to graduation day. This created the push for GSW to focus on lessening any barriers within the admissions and enrollment process and increase efforts into student scholarships by creating criteria that was both competitive and accessible to students of various backgrounds. When explaining the challenges, she also noted that on the flip side of the COVID-19 pandemic, enrollment numbers were affected on many college campuses, in the sense that many new and continuing students were reluctant to come back to campus. This made both the enrollment and retention data the hot topic of many committee and board meetings as different departments collaborated to create strategies that would boost retention and foster student success. This time also urged us to reflect on the mental health and well-being of our students, faculty, and staff. This reflection gave birth to several health and wellness programs that serve to be a useful resource to our campus community when we need it. I had also taken the time to ask Dr. Gay where she thought that she would be in 5 years with her career, and she said, I hope to be retiring from my current position and looking to explore other fields and hobbies that include leisurely volunteer work, which is understandable, granted that she has given 30 plus years of service to GSW. As I reflected upon everything that we were discussing, I had brought to her attention of the first time that I had met her. The first time that I met Dr. Gay without truly realizing it was at my first preview day, and then again at my orientation day for GSW back in 2013. I may not remember much of what she said in her presentation, but I do remember how nice and warm her personality was. She makes you feel as though there is no stupid question, and that she would do everything in her power to assist you where she can. What I did not know until I began to work under her is how much of her life she has given to GSW and the impact that her presence has had on this campus. Before we ended the interview, she also told me a few more fun things about herself. For one, Dr. Gay is a loyal Georgia Bulldogs fan. Her beautiful family includes her loving husband John, one son, and two daughters, well now three with her daughter-in-law. Lastly, she may love Georgia, but her heart will forever bleed blue and gold. I concluded the interview by asking whether she feels that she is making a difference in her job, and she stated that I sure hope so. Some days are better than others, but when I see those new students getting excited about being a part of the Hurricane family, it makes everything that we have all had to endure worth it, and it gives me great pride. In the end, I would just like to say thank you, Dr. Gay. Thank you for ushering in over 30 plus years worth of Hurricane pride. Go Canes!